Welcome to the Chris and Sam podcast. Pull up a bar stool and join us for a random conversation, guaranteed to make you think or your money back.
So, welcome to another episode of the Chris and Sam podcast. I'm Chris and my mate Sam is beside me here.
I am. I'm sitting next to you this time as opposed across from you. And why is that, Chris?
Because some buggers have filled our couches up. Now, we've got a couple of guests here, and this is because, and I have to, before I introduce the guests, I'll explain the context. We are in the middle of a competition. We are tired, somewhat relaxed at the moment, but we've been through the ringer a bit. It's the 48-hour film challenge. This is in New Zealand. It's an annual event. There's 48 hours. You're given a whole bunch of information about what the film's going to be about. And then you have 48 hours to finish it. So, started 7 o'clock Friday. We've got a hand in by 7 o'clock tonight. It is, at the time of recording, 2:47.
Yep.
The film that we've shot is in the hands of the editors, and we are like extra wheels on a tank. We're not needed at all. So we got out of the way. We thought we'd do this quick podcast. So the two guests that we've got is Sash Nixon and Ben Corcoran, who you may know from Kneel Before Pod.
Hello.
Hi. You're ridiculously quiet, Ben, and I don't know why. Because I can hear him fine.
I'll turn my voice up.
Yeah.
Your theatre voice.
Yeah.
That's
It's all good.
For.
Outside voices.
Oh, that's better. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, I think you got to point right directly down the mic, not to the side of it.
Yeah, we're from Podfellas, Kneel Before Pod. We're very excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for having us.
Look how quiet you guys are talking compared to me.
Well, you're a big personality.
You want to have it
Sam.
like
You're larger than life.
pretend you're doing something to the mic is all I'm going to say.
I think what he's
Okay.
trying to
Yeah,
say is
do it.
wake up.
Yeah.
Wake.
That's the first time I've
Yeah,
done
do-
that motion, so
Yeah.
I really don't know. I
No,
mean,
that's it.
You're the expert.
That's it, Sash.
Okay, I got it.
So you guys are
Cool.
quite
I think I have the
tired.
motion.
And quite hungover because we
yeah.
had some shots for the movie.
Yeah.
And they said
There was a new term for movie shots. I mean, the shots that we did last night for the movie were shots of shots.
They were. It was pretty cool.
Yes, we were given the direction that we were allowed to drink for shots that we were supposed to be drunk in. So we took that direction and we ran with it.
You did. You
That
did.
ran, triple jump, leap, bound, hop, skip.
I
They
mean,
were all over it.
I mean,
We
can't,
rode-
can't say too much about the film, but at one point,
Yes, you can.
Ben's piggybacking Sash in a banana suit.
Yeah.
That's normal.
Yeah,
So it was a money shot.
that was
So-
that was pretty funny. It was actually really funny. So, how have you found the 48 hours this year? Because you guys have done it before, eh?
No, I haven't.
Oh,
Ben hasn't. I'm probably the kind of veteran, really, on the team in terms of I've done the Hamilton 48 almost consistently since it's been in Hamilton. Like it's probably at least 8 to 10 times.
Whoa.
Various teams.
Yeah.
Sometimes with my own team. We actually entered in Auckland one time just to sort of see how we would do. We didn't do very well. Because it's Auckland and you get a lot of professionals who basically, just take their weekend off with all their flash gear and their flash director buddies and their
because
crews.
one of the teams that they talked about on the website that's done it for the last 12 years since its inception.
Yeah.
The guy, I know him via Twitter. He edits TV programs for a day job.
Yeah.
So
So
editing
that's
would be
slumming
pretty
it,
quick.
48 hours,
Oh yeah, let's take a weekend off, just make a short film, with all of our, hundreds of thousands of dollars of equipment
Yeah.
and
let's all meet at the soundstage, shall we?
Actors that actually, get paid to act and crews.
You mean actors
and
get paid to act? What's that
Apparently,
about?
I wouldn't know. Oh.
Oh.
Oh no, actually, now I've got to say, so Ben and Sash were our main actors, or are our main actors in this film, and you both did a really good job. The story that we've put together really does revolve around the two of you and how things spark off you. You want to talk about that a bit?
Yeah, well, of course, as things developed, we just kept finding more opportunities to have fun, really, on camera, and show off the characters that we'd kind of built in the really limited period of time that we had to do it.
And get drunk.
And get drunk, which helped. Yeah.
The highlight for me, obviously, is chucking a whole bucket load of fake blood onto you guys. That was good.
Yes, not so. Conversely, not quite as much of a highlight as being on the receiving end.
But in saying that, my hands are permanently stained pink at the moment.
Chief blood maker.
We heard you got into the blood quite in a big way. You tasted and sampled and
Oh, it was all over it.
yeah, it's quite tasty.
I was surprised at the ultra simple recipe they were using.
Do you want to share that with our listeners?
Yeah, it's a can of golden syrup, red food colouring, and a bit of green to make it darker.
On that kind
Bit of
of
green food colouring, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
on that kind of topic, Sam, there was a little story about your co-host that I thought you might be interested in.
Oh, this sounds amazing.
What? Who, me? What?
Because
keep talking, Ben. Don't let him put you off.
But it's just a little thing. But because our friend of ours, Chris Williams, who was there, had done a video. Because, of course, the big blood splash on Sash and I was the topic of a lot of anticipation from the crew. So basically everyone was on the other side of the cameras taking shots of their own.
Yes.
Because they didn't want to miss it. So Chris Williams took a shot and he posted up on Facebook of us getting doused. And, of course, you hear that great sound that came out. I don't think we'll need to dub in any kind of sound because the natural sound was just so great. And when we remarked upon that, Chris said, oh, really? Was the sound that good? Oh, I listened to it on mute. Oh, that's why I didn't notice. And we're like, yeah, no, that's right, Chris. The sound usually does sound better with sound.
Yeah. Well, I was just making the observation that on mute, you can't hear it very well.
You know what it is? It's that old people with new technology thing. Like, when as soon as those talkie films came out, holy crap. That's when things turned
Like
wrong.
magic. It was
Lost the golden years of movie with that.
Sure did.
It's like Asgardian, technology is like magic to humans. So
Yeah.
it's that kind of thing.
And also earlier just a couple of hours ago, I randomly saw your flatmate, Sash.
Which one?
It was Joel.
Joel.
So I got to tell this story.
You tell this story because you were
'cause I'm at
adamant I knew him.
This is
I'm
the
at
first
the
time I'm
counter.
hearing this story, so go ahead.
I'm at the
Go ahead.
counter, ready, or actually in line at the counter, ready to buy the
This is
USB
at-
sticks for
At
our
Warehouse
competition.
Stationery.
At Warehouse Stationery. And Sam leans across. There's actually a display panel of things you can buy, batteries or whatever. And he leans over. He goes, "Hey, dude, check out this guy around the pillar. If ever someone looks like an elf, it would be this guy." And I went, "Oh yeah."
You've already met him.
And I
he
looked
tells
around
me.
and I went, "Yeah, you've already met him." And he goes, "No, I wouldn't. I'd remember an elf like that if I'd ever seen one." And I'm like, yeah, no, that's actually Sash's flatmate.
Yeah.
Because
And I
he's
was
been
like,
to the movie night. But I didn't realise, of course, those two haven't been to the same movie nights. And
Okay.
I've seen both of them at Armageddon, but not the same Armageddon. So Sam hasn't actually met Joel. I just
No.
assumed he had.
No.
So.
No, that's a fair call because Joel is very thin. He's very pale.
Unique looking guy.
And he's very tall. So, yeah, he's...
He was going for gold at selling a printer to some dude.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
You want multifunction? You want laser? Inkjet? I've got it all.
Nice.
Yeah.
No, he's doing his job well.
He is.
And one of the kind of hobbies and / passions of Joel's is that he's a big cosplayer as well. So
Yeah.
that was good.
Yeah,
spotting.
I mentioned to him, can you imagine the penguin? And he went, because that was
Yeah.
the last thing I saw Joel
Yeah.
in, and he looked so good in that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sam went, "Oh, yeah, from Gotham." And I'm like, yeah, because I've never watched Gotham yet because I live in a bubble.
Yeah.
You do.
And
A very old bubble. So I hear.
an old wrinkly bubble. It's a wrinkly bubble.
Yeah. They didn't even know how to do a proper sphere, so it's like a cube.
No, yeah. Joel does a new. He cosplays at every Armageddon in every city. Like he makes an effort to actually go to Wellington. He's got family down in Wellington, which he's
that's
got
good.
somewhere to stay, which is cool. And he goes to Auckland, and he goes to every Armageddon he can, and sometimes he changes up his costumes and stuff.
Yeah, and he did a
he's
good
gone as Luigi and, like you say, Penguin, a whole bunch of different things. Joker, he did a good Joker.
Yeah, I was
one
going to
year
say
as
it'd be
well.
good as Joker.
And he did a little bit of good acting, like in You Only Die Forever. He was the snooty waiter. I
Yeah.
thought he did that, nailed that part.
He did kind of the snooty, almost like a French waiter with the little thin moustache and everything. And yeah. But enough about Joel, more about us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're tired. We're tired because, as Ben, already mentioned, our lovely director said, "Hey, we're doing this. We're doing this sequence where it's a flashback, it's a montage. You guys are just two guys, kind of, drinking at home, having fun. We'll just kind of run and gun it. If you guys want to get drunk for real, go for it." I was actually.
And how many bottles of spirits did you bring? Because there were a few.
I brought a bottle of mango tequila. It was like a combination. That was actually from Armageddon, from the liquor place there. What did you bring, Ben?
We went to the liquor store first as well. I got some cider, which I drank all.
And then you had that honey badger stuff or whatever it was.
Yeah, honey tea
beer.
and honey liqueur, which was also from Armageddon. So
now tell us the story about the honey liqueur, because that was hilarious.
Oh well, the lovely lady at the liquor store told us that it's brewed in Germany in a village where they were constantly getting plagued by a bear. So they decided, well, we need to get rid of this bear. How are we going to do it? So they decided to brew up this liquor, chucked in honey, brewed it up, and left it out for the bear to eat. So the bear came along, ate the brew, and it made him a little sleepy. And they were able to catch the bear and get rid of him. And then they thought, hell, this stuff is actually pretty good. Let's keep it around, bottle it, and sell it. And here we are today.
And
Excellent.
a legend was born.
That's right.
Yeah, it tastes pretty good, actually, didn't it? Honey tea.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm like, no, I almost made the same unmute thing. It tastes pretty good, except I didn't actually taste it, so I wouldn't know. I tasted the mango tequila.
Do you want to say it sounds like it would taste pretty good?
I heard it tasted good.
Oh, okay.
But
Yeah.
it was on mute.
Excellent.
I think we're all a bit tired, to be fair,
Yeah.
including me. I'm going to say that, just throw that out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, normally we're all full of beans and spunk, aren't we, Ben?
Yes, I am particularly full of spunk.
And I'm full of beans.
Excellent. That's a winning combo if I've ever heard of one.
Yeah, but I mean, coming back to the 48, as I told Chris before when he was doing his little interviews, it's usually just a mad rush. Like, it's usually just panic. And this is the first year I've done it where we've actually had like a team of designate. Like, we've actually had a producer. Like, we don't normally there's kind of someone who just kind of naturally takes the reins, and that's usually the person who's the director / editor / writer, whoever. You may have someone who's passionate about writing that might want to be in on the writing process. That's cool. You might have someone who wants to do the editing. And then you just kind of scramble around and try and find other people, other actors and locations. But I mean, I've never had a producer before to actually...
And it made it better or worse?
Oh, no.
Being the producer, I'm sort of curious.
Yeah, no. God, was he? Oh, that my whole story just fell apart. It is good because you have someone to keep the schedule in line and to keep things like time a factor, because you you feel it more than any other kind of filmmaking challenge. The whole you're up against the wall all the whole time.
Did you guys hear the story? So within the group that we had Roy, and Roy's the special effects dude. Did you hear the story about the guy he knows that was in another team?
Yeah,
and what they were up to?
Yeah. He was talking about that, and
So what was that?
they got interdimensional as their genre. So they were going to do this very Cthulhu creature from the abyss kind of demon story.
So he had a photo this afternoon, and yesterday they shot for 22 hours straight. They got 22 hours worth of footage.
Whoa.
And a lot of it was really technical. And the photo he had was a fridge with the whole back cut out of it.
Yeah.
And then they were pumping that full of dry ice or
Nice.
Yeah.
smoke. And
Yeah,
then
smoke
when they
machine.
opened it, all the smoke would come out, and then a massive tentacle.
Yeah, well, because I know Josh works a little bit with Weta. So remember when we were bad-mouthing those professionals who just, take the weekend off and use all their expensive equipment?
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't include, like, the likes of Josh, because I'm sure he's a great guy.
So, Josh, sorry about that. Is what he's saying.
We're talking about the people we don't know or
Yeah,
friends with
but
our friends.
you were going to say, just change the subject, and you were going to say something to what Sash was saying before about how we're going
just in terms of producers. To me, producers are, they're definitely essential. They are the person who has their foot firmly in the real world, all the logistical stuff, like he's saying about the scheduling and all that sort of stuff. So actors and the director and all that sort of stuff are focused on telling the story and how we can get the story done. We need a producer there who is, on the other side of things, which is how much time do we have left? How much daylight do we have left? Do we have enough batteries? Are we going to arrange this? Are we going to arrange that? When are we doing this? So you need somebody who's still thinking in reality to get our unreality to work.
And someone who's not really involved with the whole creative process, because I think if they're separate and they're thinking about logistics and time and schedules and food and we need to hurry up and we only have this much time and we need to find this prop and this is happening, this isn't happening, all of this stuff, you really need someone like that. And you really don't need them to be creative. Like we had the perfect producer, because Chris isn't creative at all. In fact, he made a number of suggestions that we just ignored. He originally, if I'm going back a couple of days, he originally intended the film just to be one character. We vetoed that immediately. I put my foot down and said no, it can't be.
And I was actually
character.
quite adamant about that.
He
was very
he
adamant
really
about
was.
this one
and I was
character.
just kind of watching the room and just gauging everyone. No, they were going back and forward, and I was like, no, there should be two. It really should be two. Ben could be the other guy, because I knew, and this was my little kind of hidden agenda. Really.
Oh, the truth's coming out now.
I knew if it was me and Ben were the two main actors that would be able to play off each other, and it probably would end up more of a comedy. Even though we got mystery for our genre, it would incorporate a number of different things. One of them being humor.
In a competition, comedy always plays well if it's done right. Yeah.
That's one thing I've learned as well about a lot of the films that win. They tend to be comedies, or they incorporate a lot of humor. It can be stupid humor, it can be clever humor, but you really, it's an easy. Well, comedy isn't easy, but it's a kind of a quick shorthand in a way to get the audience on your side a lot faster than if you're doing something dramatic or serious.
Well, when you've only got so the film's 1 to 7 minutes long. When you've only got that time to engage, laughter really is the shortcut to do that. I think. Yeah.
When you only have 7 minutes, you don't have time to do a beginning, middle, end proper story. You just have just a handful of scenes really to play with, and you might as well try and get some laughs.
Yeah, because laughter is not something you think about. It's something you do. You're like, it's funny or it's not. And if it's funny, you are instantly engaged. As soon as your vocal cords start laughing and your brain catches up with that. Yeah. At least that's how it works.
Exactly.
For me.
And with characters that are just so kind of roughly drawn, you end up sort of naturally bringing out your own sensibilities and personality anyway. So I knew if it was me and him, we would sort of bring that to it. We would sort of bring that kind of, I don't know, kind of bromance to it, I guess.
Bromance pretty much sums up your characters in that film.
I was going to say it sums up their life.
That's true. Podfellas.com.
Yeah, check out podfellas.com for more bromance between all four of you.
Yeah, so I think it's been going really good. What do you guys think that we are going to end up with? So right now, as I think I mentioned before, it's in post-production. I
had an answer then, but I won't say it.
The editor is working on it. The sound people are working on it. They've got colour grading to do. We've still got, 4 hours to get it in? So what do you guys reckon? We're going to have a good finished product?
We had a sneak preview in the editing room of an early part of it. So not a full edit, not even the full structure of it put down. And I mean, we were laughing at it. I mean, part of that is because we were there and, we have that nostalgia factor going on. But I think it'll translate well. I think people will get what we're going for. We'll get the laughs that we want. And yeah, I think we've been all really lucky to be part of this one.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I think with any kind of amateur film on zero, close to zero budget, you're always going to make compromises. It doesn't matter how much time you have to spend on it. With something like 48, you're never really going to reach 100% of that, what you had in your mind when you were coming up with all the ideas. You may actually never get all of the ideas out, like we didn't. There are lines that we didn't get out, there are ideas that were missed, because you just don't have the time.
Yeah, we had a few scenes we had to cut.
Yeah,
it would have been quite
and
nice.
That's kind of natural, but you have to keep moving the schedule along, otherwise you're just never going to get it done. I mean, I've heard the horror stories of people who, their rendering took too long, something went technically wrong, and they went to hand it in. They were like a minute late or less than a minute late.
Yeah, you said if you're 1 second over.
Yeah. Instant disqualification. There's close to $200 just gone. And it's like, thanks for the memories, but you have nothing to show for it. And that's pretty sad. So you always have that in the back of your mind.
The very first time we did it, 48 hours, and it's the only other time I've done it, none of us knew anything. None of us had worked in film before at all, even at an amateur basis. Except one guy knew how to edit. He'd edited music videos amateurly, but he knew how to edit. And so that was interesting, and we got a great deal of pride that we finished. It looked like crap. It doesn't make any sense. The's no music.
You can find it on YouTube, folks.
It's still on YouTube.
Yeah.
So what I do want to get some feedback from Sam, because Sam's probably the most novice out of the four of us here in terms of filmmaking. And this is probably the first film that you've been involved with, Sam, from beginning to end.
Yes.
Yeah, so what do you reckon?
It was pretty good. I think we're quite lucky that a whole bunch of our team are actual at Wintech. So that allows for a lot of equipment and obviously editing suites and sorts of things.
Thanks, Wintech.
Yeah.
Thanks,
yeah.
heaps.
And I think we booked out all their gear except for a couple. No, but the funny thing is there was other teams at Wintech as well taking part, and it looked like they hadn't booked out anything. So
always book ahead, people.
Book ahead. No, I think this is going to go down as one of the best weekends for me of the year. I think it's been a hell of a lot of fun, and that was the thing. We had a lot of fun as well. It wasn't all serious, and we've all been in those films, I think, where either it's too serious and it's not fun. It becomes a chore, or there's one or two people carrying all the load. Others are horsing around, and then somebody has an implosion, and shit gets real or whatever, and it doesn't look very fun. But we have bypassed all that this time.
I think I think having a producer is very important, or at least someone outside of the creative process to keep an eye on the schedule, make sure all the your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted, and your paperwork's done, your release forms are signed. Everything is kind of taken care of as you go, and it's keeping an eye on that clock. That's very important. And just having a great team is just a team that works well together. It's essential. If you have one person with the big ego, they're just gonna spoil the broth, sort of thing. So, but it's been good. Yeah, it's probably been definitely one of the most fun 48s I've ever done, and just one of the most well organized. It was just kind of amazing. I mean, if this was any other team, I'd probably be editing right now, or I'd still be acting and would still be shooting, or I would just be a nervous wreck, or just stressed about. Because the director is stressed and isn't, we're still kind of trying to edit it and get the sound done, and I'd be foleying, and I'm just chilling here. We're doing a podcast on it, so
yeah,
ready for a nap.
Yeah, because normally you're doing pickups at the last minute.
Yeah,
it's like, holy crap, this whole scene that this doesn't make sense.
We're still normally panicking,
and
I'm just like chilling here, with just listening to my own smooth sounds of my vocal magic. So
yeah,
podfellas.com.
Yeah, that's right.
Full credit to, you've got Chris, obviously, the producer, and we're not just sucking up to him because he's in the same room and we're on his podcast, because we take the piss out of him all the time. But also, sorry, we take the P.
We take the P.
But also to Paige, our director.
Absolutely.
Because she just has an instinctive grasp for filmmaking, for knowing what shots we actually need. Calm.
She seems so kind of lax and just kind of
Yeah.
cool with everything, but really collaborative, and just you kind of want someone like that who has so many kind of, you know, you can see things ticking in her mind, but she's so open to everything, but still organized, but relaxed, never sort of stressed.
I got to speak to that because so I've been interviewing everybody. I've interviewed everybody on the set for. We're going to do a special episode of the filmmaker, the NZ Filmmakers podcast, which you can find at nzfilmmakerspodcast.com.
Yeah, yes.
But I interviewed her and I said, you know, this is a very collaborative, organic sort of film, and she said, you know, that's what I wanted to do, and I came into this doing with that in mind. I was like, oh, so this was planned, because I was like, I thought it just happened. And she's like, no, this is what she goes, if it was one of my other films, I wouldn't be doing it like this. She goes, but for this, it's got to be fun. And that was one of the priorities. And we're all going to put something in. And I decided we would go with the flow and we would do it as we went along. Because I thought before this weekend that she'd be quite a bit of a director Nazi, because I know she's directed other things before. But, you know, like you say, it's been brilliant. The story's evolved more than it has been written in a way. You had the base platform, but everything on top of that sort of has evolved, not quite scene to scene, but almost.
Yeah, exactly. Basically in the background when Sash and I weren't on, or if something's getting worked out in the background, we're kind of working on, or how can we make this next scene kind of pop? What can we do in there? And other people are giving us ideas for stuff to do as well. To me, it's we've got producer, we've got director, we've got everyone did such a great job, and that to me is the thing. Everyone was really committed. I think there were a couple of people who did sort of give their names to us and say, I can hang around or I can do stuff, and then they sort of we heard later on, these people couldn't make it or they couldn't do this.
They're probably people that we didn't really need there.
Well, yeah, no, there's that, and I'm not
interesting.
saying anything against them either.
No.
I think it's more.
I am.
Sash's.
The only one I'm worried about is the composer, because we don't have a composer, and that would have been nice. But anyway,
for me, I think it's the other way around. Is that some of them will probably regret not actually being as committed as the team that we did have. Not saying that you'd be there for something and then life gets in the way. That's all good, but I think you might feel that you've missed an opportunity here, possibly.
I've definitely learned things from this experience. I've got to say, definitely.
Life should never get in the way of fun. That should be a motto.
It should be a motto.
I think there should be a T-shirt. We should do the T-shirt.
It should. It's like that superhero. What's his name? Shazam. I can't remember. Shazam. Sorry. Shazam. Yes.
I loved
That's
Shazam
right.
when I was a kid. Anyway.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right, so that's pretty much us for this episode, I think. Hopefully this was an interesting episode. There wasn't too much randomness on this one. It was one topic. But thank you very much to Sash and
Hey,
Ben for
thank
coming
you
along.
for letting the Podfellas invade both your spaces.
Yeah, we like that.
you know?
But make sure to keep an eye on the 48 Hours film website for links to, I think they must link to the videos. Once the
videos will be there. We will add our video into the
Yep.
show notes of this when it's available.
But if you're liking the sound of this, keep an eye out for it when it happens next year.
Yeah. And also you might want to check out Instagram, Facebook and Twitter for the hashtag, either #48hoursNZ or #GoApe, which is something to do with the sponsors, or hashtag
WTF48.
WTF48.
Yep.
Is it not WTF 48 hours?
No, that was
I've been doing it wrong.
Yes, sorry about that. I'm sure it was 48 hours, but apparently not.
Podfellas.com.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys. See ya.
Hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to subscribe and we'll catch you next week. Don't forget to tell your friend.